I just paid my electric bill 3 days early. It was exactly $145, $20, and usually seeing that confirmation screen clicks a little dopamine switch in my brain. It's supposed to be a win, right? But 5 seconds later, my phone vibrated on the desk, and my stomach dropped through the floor. It wasn't a collection agency. It was just a text from my friend asking, "Hey, are you still good for the flight deposit tonight?" And I froze. I literally put the phone face down and walked out of the room. This is my real-time journey, not expert advice. Here's exactly what happened. Honestly, I feel like a total fraud today. On paper, or at least on my banking app, I looked responsible. I had the money sitting in my checking account. I logged in, I clicked Submit Payment, and I got the little green check mark. For a split second, I felt like I had this whole financial adulthood thing under control. I felt proud that I wasn't scrambling to find the cash on the due date like I used to, but that feeling evaporated the second the screen dimmed, and that text came through. It's funny how a $140 victory can be instantly crushed by a simple question. The truth is, I've been avoiding this specific conversation for weeks. I've been using these small administrative wins, like paying a utility bill or organizing my receipts, to distract myself from the bigger, messier reality. It feels like I'm rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic while ignoring the iceberg. The vibration of the phone felt loud in the quiet room. My heart rate actually spiked. It's embarrassing to admit this, but my first instinct wasn't to reply, "Sure," or "Sounds good." My first instinct was to come up with an excuse. Maybe tell them work is crazy or that I forgot to check the group chat. I sat there staring at the back of my phone case, feeling this wave of hot shame wash over me. I realized that while I'm getting better at managing the math, I am still absolutely terrible at managing the social pressure. I can face a spreadsheet, but I can't face my friends because that means admitting I'm the one who can't keep up right now. So I eventually picked the phone back up. I didn't unlock it, I just held it like it was a grenade with the pin pulled out. To understand why this simple text message paralyzed me, I have to show you the numbers. I have to show you what I was looking at on my laptop screen while I was pretending to be busy. I clicked over to my main budget spreadsheet. Row 14, electric bill. Status, paid. Amount, $145. That cell was green. It looked perfect. But then my eyes drifted down to row 22. Friends Trip Fund. That's what the text was about. We have this plan to go away in July, and we estimated the flights and Airbnb would cost around $100 and $200 each. I looked at the column next to it. Current balance, $50. That is why I walked out of the room. It wasn't just about being busy. It was about the shame of that number. I had promised the group that I would put aside $100 a week starting last month. If I had stuck to the plan, that cell should read $400 right now. But it doesn't. It reads $50 because honestly, I prioritized other things that felt urgent in the moment, but really weren't. I scrolled through my transaction history for the last 3 weeks, and it was like reading a diary of bad decisions. There was a $45 charge for a subscription box I forgot to cancel. There was $80 spent on takeout because I was too tired to cook on a Tuesday. There was another $60 on random home organization bins, ironically bought to make me feel more in control, that are currently sitting empty in the closet. I did the math right there. The $185 I blew on things I didn't need is almost exactly the missing amount for the trip fund. Seeing it in black and white made my stomach churn. This is where the concept of avoidance tax hit me hard. I realized that by not answering that text, I was actually making the situation more expensive. Not financially, maybe, but socially. In my head, I've been treating this trip like a deadline I'm going to fail. I've been viewing my friends as the opposition, people who are going to judge me for not having my act together. But the reality is the silence is compounding. It's like high-interest debt on my friendships. Every hour I don't reply, the anxiety builds. The narrative in my head gets worse. I start imagining them talking without me, wondering if I'm flaking, and convincing myself that I'm the broke friend who holds everyone back. I looked back at the $140.20 payment confirmation. It felt hollow now. It was easy to pay that bill because the electric company doesn't ask questions. They don't ask why I bought the plastic bins. They just want the cash. Paying it was a way for me to feel productive without being vulnerable. It was fake work. The real work was sitting in that unread text message. I sat there for a good 10 minutes, just watching the cursor blink in the spreadsheet cell next to the $50. I realized I was trying to solve a math problem when I actually had a courage problem. The numbers were bad. I was behind by $350, but hiding them was making me feel bankrupt. I was letting the fear of a 10-minute awkward conversation ruin an entire day of progress. I was protecting my ego, but the cost was my peace of mind. I took a deep breath. I remembered that the 1% philosophy isn't just about compound interest. It's about compound honesty. If I want to be 1% better today than I was yesterday, I can't just be a robot clicking buttons on a utility website. I have to be a human being who owns their mess. The system only works if I operate it with my eyes open. So I didn't transfer the missing $350. I simply didn't have it. I didn't magically fix the trip budget in a panic. But I did the one thing that felt impossible 5 minutes ago. I picked up the phone, I unlocked it, and I typed out the truth. I wrote, "Hey guys, I looked at the numbers and I'm actually behind on the trip saving. I messed up the tracking this month. I can't do the full deposit tonight. I'm feeling pretty anxious about it, just wanted to be upfront." That was it. That was my 1% step. It wasn't a financial transaction, it was a courage transaction. And you know what? The world didn't end. The ceiling didn't collapse. My phone buzzed back 2 minutes later. "Dude, no worries. Thanks for saying something. Just send what you can, or we can look at cheaper dates." The relief that washed over me was worth infinitely more than the $145 I paid to the electric company. I realized that the perfect financial journey doesn't exist. We are going to stumble. We are going to buy the stupid plastic bins we don't need. The win isn't in never making a mistake. The win is in cutting the lag time between making the mistake and owning up to it. Today, I stopped hiding. I stopped letting the shame compound. And honestly, that feels like the biggest deposit I've made all week. My 1% mission for tomorrow is to transfer just $5 into that Friends Trip fund, the one I've been avoiding. Just $5. It doesn't fix the problem, but it breaks the paralysis. What is your 1% step? Is there a scary account you haven't looked at? Open it. Or just move $1 to a savings goal you've neglected. Let's share our small wins in the comments below. I am not a financial expert or advisor. This content is for documenting my personal journey and for entertainment purposes only. Please do your own research before making any financial decisions.